Now, if you told me, Baby Bangum, that's me, that's tiny me, that I would one day be in the Capcom offices, invite play a game early, I'll tell you a lie, that's cap. Well, we were locked away in a room for 2 hours playing a special game, a very special game. That game was Kunitsu Gami. First off, I want to shout out Capcom. Appreciate you guys for the invite. Big love to the team there. You're doing a great job. Just thank you for having me down. Really appreciate you guys. So I'm just putting that out there. This is not a fully comprehensive review. This is just my ramblings. I was only able to sit with the game for 2 hours. So this is just what I thought of the game, my first impressions, and what you can potentially expect with this game when it releases, I believe, in a month's time. So from the jump, we were sat down in this room. The room was a vibe. It had nice mood lighting, really chilled, comfy chairs ready for us to game. The game fires up, and my perception of Kunitsu Gami was that it's an action RPG. I was wrong there. It's a tower defense based game, which again, I haven't played tower defense based games in a very long time. If I were to compare it to anything, I would put side by side maybe Age of Empires and Devil May Cry. So Age of Empires for the strategic aspect, the taking your characters, placing them as and where they need to be, and they formulate a defense and attack. And the Devil May Cry aspect comes into it based off of the mechanics, the combo mechanics. So the nature of the gameplay, it shifts, and it's never one set pace, if that makes sense. Let me give you a brief explanation of what tower defense means from a gaming perspective. So by Wikipedia standards, tower defense is a subgenre of strategy games where the goal is to defend a player's territories or possessions by obscuring the enemy's attackers or by stopping enemies from reaching the exits, usually achieved by placing defensive structures on or along the path of attack. This typically means building a variety of different substructures that serve to automatically block, impede, or attack or destroy enemies. Tower defense is seen as a subgenre of real-time strategy video games, as I mentioned, Age of Empires, due to its real-time origins. Even though many modern tower defense games include aspects of turn-based strategy, strategic choice and positioning of defensive elements is an essential strategy of the genre, and that is the essence of Kunitsu Gami. It's strategy. You get to fight also, but it's strategy, and I cannot say strategy for some reason, and I don't know why, but strategy. Right, let's talk about how long I actually had with the game. So 2 hours is not that long of a time. And by the time I found myself settling in when playing this game, it was kind of time to eat and go, which was like an moment. But the game is very interesting. It's very overwhelming in the beginning because there's a lot of information it's feeding to you. You have to kind of take in what it's telling you and understand the mechanics of the game. Really take your time to kick back and read what's going on. What I liked about the game is the converting of the villagers. So you have to basically create a team. So you're not only by yourself, so you're protecting the Queen Sage or the goddess or whatever her name is, but she is who you need to protect, and you're basically carving a path for her to a gate as to what you would purge. So you're basically a warrior that can kind of purge demons, and you're eliminating demons on the map. While you're eliminating demons, you'll also have to recruit villagers, and villagers play varying roles. So you could have villagers that you can convert them and turn them into archers. You can have villagers and turn them into axemen. You can turn villagers into medics. There's various other roles that I weren't actually able to explore just due to my time limitations, but I believe there's like maybe 8 to 10 different roles you can assign to villagers, and they can all play parts. What I found the most difficult was strategizing against the bosses. Now those were the tricky parts. So it's a linear path, so you don't have to worry about it being open world and running around and trying to strategize in that manner. It's literally a linear path, a straight path that you have to carve out, as I mentioned, for the goddess Sage, and then you're basically putting your warriors as and where you feel they'll be most beneficial from an attack or defense perspective. What I found was when the demons come out, it can be a little tricky to defend against them because they come out the demon gate in droves, and you can't just kind of spawn trap them because their developers are clever. They put like this type of mesh or this kind of lava type thing in front of the gate, so you can't stand right in front of the gate and just beat the hell out of the demons, which is pretty clever. So you have to really take your time on how you're going to approach things and use your villagers to really create an attack plan or defense plan. One thing I thought was pretty cool, so you know it stops you from rushing the levels, was collecting of crystals. So the benefit of collecting crystals, it enables you to rank up your villagers or change the role of your villager. So if I made a villager an axeman and then I wanted to change his role to an archer, I think I'd need around about 50 crystals or so. I could also take those crystals and continue to carve out a path for the sage goddess to get to her final destination. And it's basically based on day and night cycles. So similar to, if I were to compare it to an anime, similar to Demon Slayer, how the demons all come out at night and cause chaos. So you kind of do your foraging around the map for crystals and purging of plants and certain other fixed demons, or freeing villagers from like the demons holds in the day, and then the real demons come out at night, and then that's when your battle ensues. So you've got like a day and night cycle, and I think the day and night cycles, they cycle between about a 5 to 8 minute, maybe 10-minute max interval, which was interesting. So it was interesting to see that switch, interesting to see the dynamic change and how the monsters come out at you. I believe I touched on about 4 levels in total. Each level consisted of 2 linear paths within that individual map. So you go through a linear path, you go through that first gate, and then the second path will lead on to a final boss. Final bosses were slightly different. So I encountered the first boss, which was like a bigger iteration of a smaller demon. That was fairly easy because I just kind of utilized my archers or my axemen at the time and just got them to kind of do my dirty work while I hung back and protected the sage goddess. It started to get a little bit more techy when we came across a boss that would float, and I had to start to utilize my archers. One thing I'd say, guys, if I'm going to throw a little tip out there to use when this game drops, is invest in your archers, because those guys they're mean. I got my archers up to like level 3, I believe, and they were I'd literally have them back in the distance, just firing arrows at everyone, and it was just making my life so easy. So archers is going to be my go-to when this game drops, for sure. It was really fun. Really fun. Some of the bosses can be a grind. I got up to a boss called the Centipede, or that's what everyone in the room was calling it, was the Centipede. Yeah, it's just kind of like a hair pulling out moment, because you think you've got it sussed and you think you know what you need to do to beat that boss, but it's not as straightforward as they would like you to believe. So I wasted at least 10 or 15 minutes doing what I thought I needed to do to beat it, and realizing, oh, that's not how you do it. So it has its challenges. This is definitely something that I would consider a downtime game, a game where I'm just gonna vibe out by myself, feet up, chilling, playing this in my own time, and just like the strategy aspect is the sickest aspect, because my worry was that it's gonna slow the game down, it's gonna take away from the pacing of the game, but it just adds another layer of complexity, which just makes it so fun. That was just my little waffle, my mini talk on my experience with Kunitsu Gami. Once again, thank you Capcom for inviting me down to the office. Hopefully there's many more opportunities like this to come. Kunitsu Gami is coming out soon. I'm not too sure if we have an official release date as of yet, but this game I'm intrigued. I'm actually really intrigued. That was my thoughts and my first impressions of Kunitsu Gami, my 2-hour playthrough. But so far so good. Like, it's surprisingly good. For a beta, it's surprisingly good. So keep your eyes peeled. Capcom, appreciate you guys. I'm out. Peace.